The word for you today, it's Monday. In the storm with Jesus. You know, if you're going to be in a storm, Jesus is the one you want to be in there with. Mark chapter 4, verse 35 says, "That day when evening came, Jesus said to his disciples, 'Let us go over to the other side.'" When Jesus is teaching, and he's teaching on the banks of the Sea of Galilee, and you've got all these people, and more people are coming, and they're crowding in and crowding him further back and back. So Jesus gets onto this boat and gets back out in the water a little bit, gives him some distance between him and the front row of people, plus his voice carries further and everybody can hear. So after he finished teaching, he told the disciples to take the boat and go to the other side of the lake. It's called Sea of Galilee, but it's actually a freshwater lake. As they went across the lake, Jesus was tired and he laid down to take a nap. Well, a storm came up. That area on the Sea of Galilee, storms come flying up over the other side of the mountain, and it just, sudden storms are very common there. And the storm came up, and the disciples, a bunch of these guys are professional fishermen, they know, they've been on the lake before, they knew, but they were afraid. The storm was so great that they were afraid that they were going to die. And one of them went over to Jesus, "Jesus, do you not care that we're going to die?" And here the disciples catch themselves in a storm. And it's not that they were doing anything wrong. Matter of fact, they were doing exactly what Jesus told them to do. He said, "Let's go to the other side." And then Jesus went to sleep, and here they are. They can't find themselves in a storm, and they can't handle it, so they go to Jesus. Well, we face storms in our lives, and sometimes we haven't done anything to cause the storm. We may be doing exactly what God wants us to do, but we still find ourselves in a storm. Why? Why do we in these storms, and then what should we do about it? Well, sometimes the reason we're in the storm is God uses storms to wake us up. When life is going along great, it's really easy to do the things that we enjoy doing and not worry about anybody else, and we just kind of coast through life. It's real easy to do that. And then God allows something to happen in our lives to disrupt things, and then we have to do some thinking here. We have to turn to Him for help, and sometimes it can change our lives. So one reason storms come is to wake us up spiritually. Second thing, God wants us to seek Him. You know, when life is going good, I've got money to pay my bills, my cars are running, the refrigerator's not on the blinks. Hey, life is good, and well, do I need God? Everything's working fine. But then let things start breaking, and you know what? Jesus, I need you. I need you. And the reality is we need Him all the time anyway. So sometimes He allows storms, not just to wake us up, but so that we would seek Him if we've not been taking time. And then another thing, God wants us to know Him better and to grow in our faith. They came and woke Jesus up. And you remember the story. Jesus looked at them and says, "Oh, ye of little faith." And then He spoke, and the wind and the waves calmed down. They looked at Him differently. They said, "Who is this that even the wind and the waves obey Him?" And their faith in Him grew even more because they saw the power that He had. And so it makes you think that the next time something happens in their life that they can't handle, they know who to go to. And then Jesus also wants us to trust Him. He wants us to trust Him. So let me ask you, when difficult times come, where do you turn? Do you depend on your strength, or do you turn to God and say, "God, I need your help. I know you can do this. I know you can." Or do you turn to someone else? Go to friends, go to something else, and it's God or somebody else. It's kind of like a little boy he was wandering around the streets of a small town. He was lost. He was young and he was lost, and this man found him, and he asked the little boy where his home was. The little boy told him, and so the man said, "Okay, you go down here 2 blocks, and you come to this bridge, go over the bridge, and then you go 3 more blocks that way, and then turn left, and then 1 more block, and you'll be home. And so the man smiled at him, patted him on the head, and walked away. Well, the little boy was upset anyway, and pretty soon he didn't have any idea where he was. But then somebody else came along, said, "Son, where do you live?" The boy told him, and he said, reached down, took the boy's hand, says, "Come on, I'll take you." And he delivered him home, and the little boy felt comforted. Why? Well, because somebody was with him. And that's the way it is when we're in the middle of a storm. We can go to other people, and even though they may be with us, there's not the assurance as when we go to Jesus. Because sooner or later they have to leave us, but Jesus never does. And just as the difference between somebody giving this little boy directions versus taking his hand and taking him, that's the difference between people helping us and Jesus helping us. So the next time you're in a storm in your life, turn to Jesus. He wants you to turn to him. He wants to help you. He loves you. And the next time you see somebody in a storm, don't just give them directions. Take them by the hand and lead them where they need to go. Have a good day.